Hello and welcome to the Lost Pines Workshop. So if you watched my How to Build a Rocking Chair series, you know that I'm having a lot of fun building these chairs. But in today's episode, I simply wanted to discuss some changes that I've made from the original plan and some uh, more changes that I foresee in the future. So why am I making changes? Well, I followed the original plan for chair number one, and I followed it to the letter, right, according to Hal Taylor's plans. And I built a large chair, which you've got to be tall to sit comfortably in that chair. Notably, all right. Since then, I've made a couple of medium-sized chairs. This is a medium-sized chair, but I've modified it to fit a particular person. And um, or in case of my last chair, I had to make it fit two people. That chair went to my brother, who recently retired. He's 6 feet tall, but his wife is only 5'6". So knowing that any chair that you make is designed to fit a person, right? The occupant that you're making the chair for, but oftentimes it's going to be sat in by more than the occupant. We got to figure out a way to change, say, the height of the arms, the height of the seat, uh, things that make it comfortable for the people, not just the person, but the people that may be frequently sitting in this chair. Okay, so the first thing that I changed in the chair as a whole is the depth of the seat itself, right? The initial depths where we drilled holes through the back, the deep portion, the middle, and the front. I don't remember what the exact measurements were, but I believe it was like it's either 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch deep at its deepest point. Well, I've gone deeper than that. All right, I'm all the way down at the deepest point here in the back to 1 1/16. But we started with 2 inch thick material, so there's still a full inch of material in the seat at its narrowest point. I'm not going to have any issues with this coming apart. That was the first modification, and I've thinned out the front as well, and a little bit on each of the sides that I'll show you here in a second, just slightly, right, just to give it some more contour, more visible shape. Okay, so we're fitting multiple people, and people are built different. All right, my wife and I, for instance, I'm 5'7". My wife is 5'5", 5'4", 5'5" ish, right? But she has long legs and a short torso, where I have a long torso and short legs. So, and our arm lengths are different. So the two of us sitting in this chair, for instance, where our elbows are likely to land on the armrest are at different heights. And when we sit in a chair and we put our arms down, we don't want it hiking our shoulders up, right? You want to be relaxed. That's the whole point of this rocking chair, is to relax. So we've got to be able to, adjust the height on the back portion. That's easy to accomplish. When I roughed out the back leg, drew it out and roughed it out, by the template, for the back leg, we are given the specific sizes, right, for the seat joint as well as the arm. And if I lay that on there like so, you can see that where this lands. Well, this gives you the ability to move the back of the arm up or down relative to the sitter. So what I did was just I left this large as long as possible. Obviously, we're not going to be carving this down to match the arm until after we've already attached it. But it gives us that flexibility. Same with the seat, right? Um, this is the medium template, but I actually started or did these sections on a medium chair utilizing the large template because the pads are bigger, right? Gave me more maneuver room. Next was the front, right? Where the arms, I've got the back of this jacked up. Let me move it out. Slide it out this way. Okay, on the original chair, the original plan of the chair, when I sat in it, one of the things that I noticed and I personally did not like was that the arms were flat to the sitter. So as elbows are on the pads, when you placed your hands down, it was level or slightly below. That to me is not comfortable. When I sit in a chair, right, yeah, a more comfortable position is slightly raised, right? So I effectively changed the angle of the armrest to bring the nose of the armrest higher. I did that simply by, here's the medium template for the front leg. You can see on this one, I've extended that another inch, making this higher. Well, and that was based upon after locating the height of the back. Well, how did I locate it? Well, I did that by roughing, right? Still had these roughed out. The joints in the seat were cut and I attached it with clamps, sat it on the floor, and then my wife and I took turns sitting in it to find the happy place for our elbows, right? So once I located that, I locked that in place, and then I decided at what height I actually wanted to cut this. So I used the template for the layout for the bottom of the leg up to the seat. And then I left this, I don't remember, 2 or 3 inches long, and then adjusted the arm to the appropriate height, and then marked it and just cut it off. And then here, again, looking at the side, as I talked about a minute ago, you can see that I've kind of thinned this out. Not here. I rolled the bottom edge, I rolled it towards the center just to give it a thinner appearance from the side. But we're still at full flat down here in the center. So my future changes. What am I going to change next? Well, this has been in the house right now. I'm in finishing stage right now. I've got my first coat of finish on, and I've got a few more days to mess with. Anyway, my future change here, now that I've sat in it and my wife has sat in it, as we sit in it, one of the issues with this chair for us is the height of the headrest. For me, this is perfect. My head lands right in the center of the headrest, right where it should. My wife, on the other hand, the center of her head lands right here at the bottom edge. Though it's smooth, it's not comfortable really for her. So what I have done is I just went ahead and took a measurement with her sitting in the chair to where the height from her sitting or the back of the seat to the middle of her head. And I'm going to take the template, right? And as I lay this out, identifying the center of the seat pad or the top of the seat on the template, I'll measure up to that height and adjust the flare here for the headrest connection, I'll adjust the height of that based upon that measurement. So I can bring that down to where the headrest is comfortable for her, and it should still be. I'll check it before I actually before I cut it to see where that's going to land for me. I may have to make the headrest a little taller to accommodate both of us. But so if you jump off into building this chair, right? How tailor the plans and directions and videos are very useful to learn how to do this. In conversations with other folks that are building these, and some of I'll say the forum discussions that I've seen, Hal's given us the tools and the knowledge to build the chair, but he highly encourages modifying it to suit yourself, right? And that's where I've gone. So Sam Maloof and Hal Taylor also, they utilize screws for the rocker to leg connection and the armrest to the front leg connection, as well as the back leg to the armrest. There's screws in there. I'm not a big fan of screws in my stuff. So on my next iteration, this connection is going to be basically a mortise and tenon, as well as the backrest. I'm going to eliminate those two screws. It's because I don't like them. However, on the bottom for the rocker to the leg, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with the screw because that's where the most stress of any of the joints is actually going to be. Other than, our seat connections, which are already solid, all of the weight is transferred into these four legs. And I believe that keeping those screws in there is going to ensure the longevity of this joint with frequent sitting and rocking. I've got another of these cherry chairs to build with no particular person in mind. I'm going to build it very similar to this one, but another change that I'm going to make is going with, and I'm sure you've seen, a downward sweeping headrest as opposed to the upward curve. I prefer this look personally, but I'm a builder, so why not play with it, right? So I'm gonna give that a shot. I've got a template for that I bought from a guy in Canada that makes these. If I can find it, I'll put a link down below. I bought the template for that downward sweep headrest. But what also comes with that is a different layout for the rocker. A more Sam Maloof for the bottom or the back end of this tail has that downward sweep. That came with that same pattern. I've looked at it. I like it, but at the same time, I don't like it. I really like how these rockers are just kind of a traditional rock. And this thing, I just love the way that it is so smooth and comfortable. It's great. So I'm going to stick with that the straighter pattern. And then lastly, I'm still playing with the height of this front. This height that I created for this chair, it is in fact comfortable. But I'm actually going to raise this up, I think, a whole nother inch. Because if I'm sitting in this chair, I'm going to be doing something. A lot of folks like to sit here and read. Well, having the fronts of those armrests up just a little bit higher will make it more conducive, more comfortable to sitting there and reading a book with your arms fully supported. So I'm going to take this up another inch, and at the same time, and I'm going to do that by lengthening the leg itself, but the pad, the arm transition pad that we add in here, I am actually going to reduce that in size. Right now it's inch and a half-ish in thickness. That's the original thickness. I'm going to cut that in half down to 3/4 so that there's more leg and less of this, because we changed grain directions 3 times in this one location. So I want to reduce that. I'll play with that. So if you haven't jumped off into the sculpted rocking chair challenge yet, I would encourage you to do so. It is a challenge, but it's not as hard as it looks. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And again, these are modifications. So if you've never done it, follow the plan. You won't go wrong if you follow that plan. You'll end up with a great chair. And then you can decide from that point what you like about it, what you don't. And then you can change whatever you want. It's your chair. But house plans give you the starting point to jump off into understanding the process and building the jigs so that you can, make more. So I hope you found some insight and maybe some inspiration to jump off into building these. If you've already built one and you understand, don't be afraid to change it. Like I said, customize it to who you're making it for. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. I'd love to hear what your modifications are, or if you have questions on how to pursue a particular modification, let me know. I'll get back to you. I love to collaborate and help others continue to make this Maloof-inspired rocking chair. They're great fun and they are wicked comfortable. So thanks again. Hey, we'll see you down the road.